Movement to me means breath. It means life. Without breath, there is no life. And without movement, there is no life. So for me, movement has become my life force and my driving force. It's not only my work, it's where I turn to in my life and my personal stresses, whatever kind of comes my way, I turn to movement. Movement is healing. Movement is restorative. Movement is challenging. Movement is life. I moved to New York when I was 18, studied classical ballet, studied modern dance, and graduated with my bachelor's degree in fine arts in dance and anatomy. And now I dance for the Metropolitan Opera in their ballet. For me, what changed everything is when I learned how to breathe. And I know that sounds crazy, but I spent most of my life really restricting my breath. I think it comes from a background being an artist, growing up gay in a small community. I think that I was taught my whole life, kind of societally, to hold in my breath. And so the base of all of my movement work now comes from helping people arrive at their breath, because at the end of the day, it's all that we have. Pilates was the most attractive thing to me because I was studying anatomy, and I felt like it was the #1 thing that made me understand the shapes of my body. It made me understand the flexion of my spine, and it made me understand the connection of my breath. Because Pilates is all about how you breathe, same as in yoga, it's all about the breath. Wow, this is one thing that is also strengthening me. You know, I'm getting an amazing workout, I'm developing more core strength, more flexibility, but more than that, it was developing the connection to the breath. It was not until I had moved back to New York and a friend had been like, there's still spots in this Pilates training if you still want to do it. And I was like, yeah. And then teaching just became so natural to me because you are forced to be present for the entire time that you are teaching a class. And I think that's the most interesting thing about being a teacher, being an instructor, being an advisor, is that if you're doing it right, it's the most present that you can possibly be. It is total flow state, it is total presence, and you're being the most authentic that you can be. And I was so drawn to that. I was so drawn to that. The crunchy, grungy dance world that nobody sees, I really want to bring that into the fitness world, because I think that people are so obsessed with the moves and the technique and the form that they sometimes lose the beauty of moving our bodies. So the main reason why I started everything is to get people in the room because they're comfortable with Pilates, but then take it into a totally different direction and just allow themselves to move. I marry the principles of yogic movement and mindset, mindfulness, Pilates, dance all together through our breath, because that is what molds all movement, shapes all movement, and creates all movement. Movement brings me to the present life that I'm actually leading. Movement brings me into my body, because all of these external things, all of these thoughts, they don't exist. My body exists. My breath exists. So for me, movement was finally creating that connection. And I think that's why my passion is in movement. I'm for those that want to try something a little different. I'm for those that maybe want to challenge themselves, challenge the realms of movement that they've maybe experienced before. I'm for risk takers, challenge seekers, and I'm for people that want to investigate how they breathe, how they can use their breath to make their life more fulfilled, to make their body feel better. And I'm for those that want to feel good.